the Ramada Inn. It was barely a block down the Lincoln Highway East, right down the right down the street from Lancaster Host Resort. And actually, the Ramada was formerly, the property and hotel was formerly owned by Host Resort way back, because it's still there. And now I think both hotels have been fully renovated. It's probably torn out now. But when we returned in 2018 for a visit, there was a piece of paper hanging in the indoor pool area that still marked that the original name of the Ramada. And I wish I could remember now what the original name. It was the original that Host Resort formerly owned the smaller hotel. As I said about Host Resort when I left, it was a day or two after I left Host Resort and worked with my father in the maintenance staff, and the head of maintenance was a guy named Bill Meyer, and he had just passed away a couple of years ago. Great guy. He had been there a very long time, very many years, well respected. I had far more respect for this hotel with management. It's just like Host Resort, but the hotel it was very aged, and there was some renovation that took place afterward, probably 2016, 2018. It was years after that. It was mostly the front area of the lobby that got renovated, but Ramada. One of the key things when we returned in 2016, when I returned for a visit, and they never replaced the carpet. My God, it was the same carpet. And I remember I had left I got the job in 1999. It was the same carpet. All those years later, into 2016, 2018, it was the same carpet. And I remember when whomever owned Ramada, they wanted a cash deal to sell the hotel, and I don't know. That's the story we heard. A lot of inside things you learn about. When you come to the maintenance division, the maintenance department of a place, you learn a lot of inside things. The maintenance guys were pretty okay. No, okay. Some were one or so were arrogant. One guy that I didn't know my dad got along with him so well that I learned he was a Vietnam vet. I didn't even know that. But the one person, even the maintenance guys who were they did their job. But I think the most difficult thing that I said, it was such an old hotel. It looked new, but on the inside it was decaying. One of the coolest people of the hotel was, I'm not sure she was a secretary or she was an assistant manager. And I'm not going to say her full name. Her name is Renee. Unbelievably cool with us, with all hotel staff. And there was at least two to three women she was working with in the staff, and there was a male manager, male GM, and they didn't like how he was running the place, and eventually, he was gone. And then one day, we learned Renee, she got hired as GM, I think is the first time my father had a woman general manager, and we all had the utmost respect for Renee. Because she'd been there so long. Even I think there was some financial problems, and she helped the place get through it. She knew it was her hotel. As I said in a lot of my restaurant GMs, they operated the place like not arrogant, like it's their place. I wouldn't say, if I'm saying, some people would say, oh, they act like they own the place. That's arrogant. No, they did act like they own it, but not arrogantly. They had respect for the building, respect for the job, respect for the staff, And when we say, as far as we're concerned, they own the place. They ran the place. We knew they knew what they were doing. A proper manager. I think the biggest negative of any place is when they say the word micromanage is you're hands on, you're hounding, you're holding her hand. You got to do this, and it'll be that's one of the most negative terms somebody can use is micromanage. You can use it in a positive way if you can find that way. Something needs micromanaging, but if you know you got a good staff, let them do what they need to do. You may want to have you financially control, and let your restaurant staff, your management staff, your maintenance staff, cleaning staff, let them do their jobs without complaining, unless that you find a staff member that's doing something wrong. The place had financial problems for quite a while, and they were time to time they were doing good business, good hotel business, and at times I think a quarter of the time or half the time I was doing is when we had a large. I had times to rope off the parking lot for an incoming bus, one or two buses, mostly one bus, and we would park. I would rope off an area of the parking lot on the lower end where the Pizza Hut would have been, and I had to carry. I had to get the luggage from the lobby up to the room to the rooms. Oh my God! And these things. Oh my God! Those. Oh yeah, that was one of the. It was fun and difficult. The luggage, and especially when the luggage was placed outside the doors, and I had to get all these luggages out toward the lobby, and then people carry out, and the bus driver would load them in the bus. And the one thing we did not like, people, and to this day I see comments online about Ramada, about the they had a handicap elevator, not a standard building elevator. This thing was to just lift people up 3 to 4 feet, 2 to 3 feet up for people. It was mostly for people wheelchair or for elderly. And there was one in the in the lobby, but in the middle of the hotel. You walk a little bit distance inward to the hotel, and there was one outside by the front door. It was only meant for handicap, with people in wheelchairs or elderly who had a difficult time walking. No, we as the maintenance staff, we end up using it for lifting things up, like luggage especially, because there was no there was a handicap, it was a wheelchair ramp. I say ramp, but the cement was set up by the parking lot that a wheelchair could be wheeled up, and that's what the handicap elevator was for, outside the front door. But people would use it for the luggage. Yes, we did too. It's hypocritical to say yes, we did too, but mostly people would use it for luggage, and they were playing with it. There's a video on YouTube of somebody playing with it. It was only meant for handicapped people and wheelchairs. And I know I was responsible for the cleaning the outback, we have pool area, the outdoor patio area, and I spent a lot of time out there, especially oh my God, in the pool area, and Bill and the rest of us, we emptied out the pool. Bill had a suction machine and the water that took a couple of days, and it was emptying water out in the parking lot. It just was funny that you're gonna run this overnight. It's just funny to see that the pool being emptied out. Then we had to repaint it. We had to wear sunglasses because the white paint would be so bright. It's the same thing as if you go mountain climbing, like Mount Everest. And they'd be wearing sunglasses because the sun and the snow would be so bright, it'd be blinding. It's the same thing. The white paint in the painting a pool, an empty pool, it's so bright you have to wear sunglasses. And then there was a building, where we stored we stored a massive lawn chairs, any small equipment, cleaning equipment, anything like that. It was really this little building was so it was rock and cement on it. It was a little storage building. At times it was locked up. It was a padlock shut. I think I had to have gotten in there because it was a little crappy little building anyway. But next to it, it was a crappy little bush, a tree bush, and it was no more than a foot, foot and a half in height. But it was so ugly. I asked him, "Can I take a hatchet or something, a saw, and cut it out because it looks so ugly?" He said, "Oh yeah, go ahead." Only problem is, I did not realize it was poison ivy. Yeah. And within a day or so, it was all in my eyes. It had been spraying in my eyes. It affected my hands a little bit. I think I was wearing gloves, that's why. But I remember nobody even asked me why I looked like that. I had a hard time opening my eyes. I don't know how. I think it affected me within like 2 to 3 days. And I was going. Remember, would you believe this? I was taking the Lancaster local buses, like I did Host Resort, up to Ramada, and my eyes literally looked like Rocky 1 and 2. Like he was beat all to hell. The eyes were all puffy red. Yep, that's what my eyes looked like, full of poison ivy. And Bill said, I didn't even know. I was rubbing my eyes, didn't realize how bad it had been. I would keep rubbing my eyes that it had been itching like hell, and I didn't even realize that my eyes are for some reason my eyes couldn't open. I didn't know it was poison ivy. And then when Bill and the other staff saw my eyes, they says, "You should go home and put something on your eyes." So I went to check in the mirror in our maintenance bathroom, and then I saw. I didn't even see. I don't know how I didn't notice my eyes look like that at home. But it was all poison ivy covering my eyes. It looked like Rocky. I'm not kidding. Like I was beat after a 15-round fight. I was beat all to hell. I'm not saying it was like big blisters or big like a goose egg. No, it was just redness around my eye, severe redness. And I think I put just a lot of. I put a little bit of I guess calamine lotion or something. I put a lot of cold rags. All right, and it calmed down. I think I was only away maybe 1 or 2 days. I think I took a weekend off. I think I cleared it pretty fast. And no, one of the most difficult thing I always had to check. Part of my no, they give it to me particularly. Was taking care of the pool after before and after we filled it up. Was check the pH level of a pool, and when it was I had it add some chlorine, I guess, to it. These chlorine containers were like dragging a car. They were like, I think 30 gallon containers. Imagine trying to pick them up a set of steps. I'd say 4 to 6 cement steps. They had a handle, but that didn't matter. These things were tremendously heavy. I think it took me 15 minutes per. Man, yeah, the outdoor indoor pool both. I had to do that. My God, I don't know how I pulled those things. And I was making just like my mother did, my father did, and I was making survivable money. And I left in August 1999. Host Resort left in August 1999, and by June of 2000, Joanne was living with me, so we were making plans of getting married, and finding a place that's we could afford. Well, the hotel, Ramada, said, why not? And I said I would pay a little bit of fee they needed. And I asked the reception or the hotel desk clerks. I'm not sure if I approached Renee or not. I don't remember. I know I talked to one of the hotel desk clerks, and I wanted to secure one of the meeting rooms in the lower floor of Ramada. And I said I pay I put down $100 a security fee. That way nobody could use the room or book the room. and we set up both the reception and wedding at the same time in the the lower meeting rooms. And then I was also in charge. I was also in charge of setting up the sign. It wasn't a digital sign. It was no of those plastic number and letter signs. And I set up. I don't remember if I took. I think I took a picture of it. It said Frederick Petchel wedding, October 21st, 2000. And I remember setting that up. So when we had our wedding there. And then it was in October, Halloween time, the hotel had a wooden bridge. They would set up decorations for each holiday, and they set up for Halloween. And Halloween is one of Joanne's favorite holidays. And we are one of the key wedding photos, and we still today have the photo of on the bridge. Her in her wedding gown, me in the suit, we're standing at the bridge, and we still have that hanging on our wall. Our key photo. It was Halloween, and they decorated the bridge. The bridge led over to an abandoned restaurant, and to today, 2016, 2018, today it is a functioning restaurant. It's up and running. Well, it wasn't open when we visited. It said signs open 6 p.m., but it never opened. But it was an abandoned. It was an abandoned restaurant. It was just tables, chairs, set like a storage room. One particular event, a part of that, I was just talking about the abandoned restaurant. That it outside the restaurant, and it was above the outside steps leading out of the maintenance room, out to the patio. And right above that steps is very, very, very large windows it was part of the abandoned restaurant. And I made a separate video. I'm gonna set up a link to it. I made a separate video that there was a shooting, an accidental shooting, and I almost could have been severely. I don't think I've been killed, but I would have been severely injured. It was just a BB. How could a BB hurt you? Well, it blew a tiny hole into the large window, and I was changing a trash can, and the trash bag was so heavy. I pushed the trash can. It was like a rock or pebble kind of surface on the outside, and I bent it. I couldn't pull the bag up vertical upward, so I pushed the container down flat horizontal on the ground, and luckily I did. I pulled the bag horizontally, and all of a sudden it was like you heard that bullet, whatever it was, go over my head. And I made a separate video about that story of who did what, but it cracked the large window of the abandoned restaurant. And when the police went to look for the BB or whatever bullet fragment it was, they could never find it. It was so small, but they searched with flashlights. They could not find it. Ramada had a small restaurant. They had a meeting room. There was a lot of interesting things about the lobby. It had a office for promoting, for people called for rooms, and if there was an event or there was an office, a large meeting room. For at the front doors, it was this promoting office. Then there was the large meeting room. Then it was a small breakfast restaurant. Now, most of us went to this breakfast restaurant. It was very cool, well run, good fair prices, and we paid the prices. There was no discount. We paid the prices. Then there was the bridge, the abandoned restaurant. Then there was the elevator that worked 90% of the time. Times it would just not work. And people end up having the stairway. Oh yeah, people love doing that, having to carry themselves and luggage up 3 flights of stairs. Then it came the game room. We had 2 pool tables and video games. The old style arcade 80s arcade games. Then it was the front desk. It was even for its age, it looked good, and it was well operated. But financially, we're spending too much money on taking care of it. It was just too old. One of the key problem was in the ending of this of Ramada. The key thing was the biggest expense they ever had was fixing. Each room had a heating and air conditioning unit. Very low. If you imagine you imagine the air conditioners we probably just installed since now we're in summer, June 2020. We've all installed our air conditioners in our windows. Now these air conditioners and heaters were very large, and at times we had to replace them as the maintenance staff with another. They were so incredibly bulky. Holy cow! And heavy. Times we had to use a hand truck. No, we would pick our refrigerator up with. Just getting this heating air unit out of a hole in the wall. There was an outside vent, but it was like a metal container in the wall of the hotel room that these heating air unit would stick into. It was very heavy to pull out, put it back in. Very bulky, very wide. Times when they did not work, and we had to replace it with what we had. The big expense that really killed the Ramada was spent about $600 in having somebody else fix it for us. Well, the beginning of the end. The one thing that Renee corrected, if I'm not mistaken, it was Renee. When he retired, and I passed away. He had passed away some years later. Yes, Bill retired, and I watched him leave that day. I was working with him that day, and I got on the radio. It says Bill has left the building. He retired that day, and then they had a retirement party a couple days later. After Bill retired, they needed to figure out how to get away from the $600 fixing these units, these air and heating units. It was killing the hotel wise and financial wise. I think it was Renee or it was the company that owned it. I'm not sure, but they hired a head of maintenance that had an HVAC license, so he could take the smart. We didn't even think about this, but none of us would. I'm not sure if Dad had experience in doing this kind of work, HVAC of replacing the parts, because there's chemical and there's the aerosol. This is. The government wanted to control the CFCs, the chemical, and that was hurting the ozone layer. So they set laws that only HVAC licensed workers could work on Freon with air conditioners, especially. And they hired a head of maintenance. Now, what he did, the smartest thing he did was if we had about 4 to 6 air and heating units. It was, I don't know if it was sometimes the air unit parts, sometimes it was the heating parts. It wasn't total. So the smart thing this guy did was take the parts from others. Okay, as like I said, these units, sometimes the air would work, and sometimes the heat. I don't think it was often. It was both that didn't work. It was the air parts. Some air parts would work. Some it was the air. It was the heating parts. And when we had a broken one. And I was only there in the last few weeks before I left. The smart thing he did was if we had a heating unit, and he'd take out the broken parts, he'd replace it with the heating unit parts that were working. And with his knowledge, and I think he did come up with his own equipment when it came to the Freon and that equipment that ran the air conditioning. He took the air conditioning parts that were working of units that had heating units that didn't work, and took the air conditioning parts and put it and fixed the unit. It was smart. He mix matched. He traded parts out. Smart. We didn't even think about that. Spent $600 having somebody else replace it. No one ever thought about that. It really wasn't. It wasn't with a hotel closing. No. It was family situations. It was time for me and Joanne. We had, we're married, and it was time to move on. It was going on into the 2001 year, and it was time to move on and have our own life. and I gave notice that I was leaving within a week. I think we were moving up northeast PA out of Lancaster. It was time to move on. I have fond memories of Ramada compared to Host Resort. I have very fond memories of Ramada, and that's why when both my parents passed away, each respectively, we stayed at Ramada, and it was disappointing to see that the lobby had been renovated. They took out the restaurant, the breakfast restaurant we all went to, and they turned it into a comedy club. What the hell? We were all disturbed by that one. They refinished the whole lobby, a marble floor lobby. They didn't replace the carpet, which was what? If you want to fix the lobby up for looks, but you don't replace all the carpet anywhere. But that's how much we liked that Ramada, because we stayed there for when my father's funeral 2016, my mother's. I have fond memories of the. It changed ownership like 3-4 times or more. Last time we knew it was Ramada Family Resort, but the Ramada Inn, I have fond memories of that place. Miss. I wish I could. No, I was seeing it being renovated and on the outside. I wish I could see the inside. There's one place I like to revisit. If you like this video, please subscribe, comment, like or dislike, and thank you for watching.